Second, good evening, sir. For the continuation of the site planning and layout, hazard identification and risk assessment to be done, temporary structures placements, traffic flow management, excavation safety, wall protection safety, and electrical safety, material handling and storage, emergency preparedness and response procedures. These are the some key aspects of safety focused to be focused during the site planning and layout. Hazard identification risk assessment thoroughly analyze the construction site to identify the potential hazards like excavation areas, that means foundation places, high work areas, electrical risk areas, and the traffic points. These are the to be identified during the site planning and layout. Accordingly, we have to do the hazard identification risk assessment to be done for the work initiated or work started in areas like excavation, high work areas, electrical risks, and traffic points. Apart from this, conduct risk assessments to prioritize hazards and develop mitigate strategies also. So, before the initiation of the work, once the risk assessment is completed along with the controls identified, whether the controls identified is mitigate your strategies or not, we have to study before the work itself. Conduct risk assessment to prioritize hazards and develop mitigation strategies, because the identified controls may or may not work practically. That is also to be, once the risk assessment is completed, the existing controls which are identified, the crew or the brainstorming team, that should be given some prioritized hazards, and whether they are developing the mitigation strategies or not, we have to see that also before initiating the work. It's only the not imagination. We have to see that practically it is, while doing things, it will be developed mitigation strategies also by experience. We have to see that matter also. Simply risk assessment document is completed and we have to issue the artistical things to the workforce and they have to see the control points. No, that's not the way. We have to see that the conduct risk assessment to prioritize hazards, which hazards to be given first importance during this excavation, high work areas, critical. We have to see that the mitigation strategies also before initiating the work. And second one is temporary structures and placement series. Locate the temporary place facilities like offices, storage areas, and restrooms in accessible, safe locations. That means biometrics laboratories and artificial urinals also will be arranged, and temporary facilities like offices, storage areas. We have to see that should be very neatly in a place where the work should not be hampered by movement of the employees from workplace to these offices. Designate clear access points and ingress routes for workers and equipment. Where some the elaborate routes are there, okay. Open routes are there, is okay. But where the ingress routes, there the what is called the very narrow way is there for the transport, the vehicles or vehicles movement, where the ingress, that means very narrow routes are there in some of the places, that should be clearly designate the which emblems with signs, with safety postures, and see that the workers and equipment should be passed very clearly. Very, very important. Designate clear access points and ingress where the narrow is there, ingress routes for workers and equipment movement. They have to, the equipment drivers and the workforce should know which are angres, which are what is called some narrow routes are there, which are access is free is there. They have to much aware of this before starting their vehicle movement, before starting their work. Consider weather protection also and shelter areas also where necessary. Suppose in some of the what is called the construction is going on, suddenly rain is started. We have to see that the weather conditions proactively forecasting and see that protection should be placed or tarpaulins or the shamianas to be arranged for the people who are working in the construction sites itself. Normally in the excavation stage where the water will be more, that should be covered with the, like a cricket pitch. We have to cover with the all the tarpaulins and see that water should not be stagnated, and see that water flow will be there by giving some flow slope to the tarpaulin, and therefore there is no stagnation of water will be there in the excavation point of view, or the where the wells are taken. Like this, definitely weather protection also forecasting and see that the shelter to be arranged for the not only workplace but also the workforce also. That means employees also to be arranged properly. That is the temporary structures and placement in the construction site during the site planning and layout itself. Traffic flow management is also very important, where we have to see that establish one-way traffic patterns on site where appropriate. Maximum possible extent, we have to see that vehicles should be one-way traffic. That means coming vehicles and the going vehicle will not be in one route, should be separated. Like that, we have to site planning and layout should be, especially in a especially in a goods transfer vehicles. We have to see that one-way traffic should be there. And the pedestrians also will see where the more traffic is there in one way or the different ways are there, but the pedestrians will not be very narrow route. Pedestrians should be separatedly. You have to provide for the pedestrians. Clearly mark pedestrians walkways. Clearly mark pedestrians walkways and vehicle access routes, because we have to see that pedestrian walkways is different, vehicle access route is different. Differently clearly marked with the zebra lines, and see that these are the pedestrians, these are the vehicles movement. Clearly identified, clearly marked with the routes and the zebra lines with yellow and black lines and all these things. Implement traffic control measures like barricades and signages also. Where necessary, during the construction phase, you have to see that barricades to be arranged and the signages to be taken care with the safety posters, and see that the barricades within position and simply should not be removed by another person, another person simply barricades. We have to see that only barricade should be strengthily arranged, fixedly arranged, and signage to be taken care of. As somebody is coming and remove the barricades and go, no, not necessary, not to be done, tampering and all these things. Barricades should be pakka and signage to be pakka. This is the traffic flow management. We have to see that very, very important, because the lot of workforce is with different natures are there. One is fitter, another is helper, another is kalasi, another is the welder, cutter, fabricator. Different designations of the persons are involved in the work site, where we cannot demonstrate the individual. You do like this, you do like this, you do like this. It's very difficult to advise the people unless otherwise before starting the work itself, during the safety talk, you have to clearly define their roles and responsibilities along with the SOPs and all these things. Normally, The construction site is very, very tidy, and we have to see that it should be very, very clear, and see that the foreign materials will not be there. Excavation safety. It's important point is carefully plan excavation areas, including the trench and support reporting. Shoring means we have to which area is. That means this is the area is there. 3 meters this side, 3 meters that side, 3 meters that side, 3 meters all the four side. Give some gap and uh, uh, give some barricades near the excavation. Don't see that the people will go and see the bottom what happened. We have to see that where the excavation is taken place, 3 meters on 3 meters, 3 to 5 meters away from the all the four sides, away from the excavation edges. We have to see that barricade should be done. Like for example, the police investigation is going on, where the ribbons are tied on the four sides. Like that, excavation areas also 3 meters away from the excavation, all the four sides, the barricades to be done. Therefore, the other unauthorized persons will not be enter into the area where it is very dangerous. Maintain safe distances from excavation edges. Like means excavation edges means very important. 3 meters, all the four sides we have to 3 to 5 meters give gap. This is the excavation safety we have to. Fall protection also we have to see. Designate fall protection zones and provide necessary safety equipment like guardrails, safety harnesses, and nets where required. Safety nets also to be taken care of, where the people are working at 2.5 meters above, they treated as a work at heights. At that time, we have to arrange fall protection system also very carefully. Electrical safety, clearly mark electrical cables and distribution points. Because in the construction site, not the cable trenches, as the cable route is not decided, only erection points is there. At that time, we have to clearly mark that areas. This is under construction of the cable works. Please barricade to be arranged properly and see that it should be other persons or another person will not be close to the electrical cables work is going on. Implement proper grounding and procedures of electrical equipment. What are the electrical equipment which you are using, either a portable or the machines? It should be properly earthed and the connected. It should not be bare wires to be connected in the plug points. It should be always a 3-pin plug only. And grounding is proper grounded, because we have to see many construction areas, especially in welding machines, where the wires are having the 100 to 50, 150 meters are there, where the vertical joints are there. The joints is there, but the grounding is not proper. Definitely electrical shock will be taken care of. Electrocution, which means immediate fatal will be occurred. You have to be very careful. Material handling and storage is very important. Designate is very important. Designated storage areas. We have to designate the designated areas. This is the storage area. This is the movement area. This is the vehicle movement area. Like this, you have to designate by giving the proper stacking techniques or unstacking techniques and all. Implement is safe lifting procedure for heavy loads. Where the heavy loads are there for lifting and dumping is very, very important, because during the construction, lot of iron metals are coming from outside. There, by using the overhead cranes, using the cranes, we have to download the channels, beams, and heavy loads are there. We have to use the lifting procedures carefully. This is a very crucial point, material handling. Material handling storage means normally people are thinking raw material. No, it is a material of the material which is used in the construction stage. like iron, beams, channels, rods, everything will be used in the construction site where the lifting procedure should be properly used. Always movement of vehicles are there. Coming vehicles and going vehicles are different. Routes should be separated. That's a better way to take the safety measures. Emergency preparedness and response procedures clearly accessible to all workforce, and they should be trained properly. If anything happens, things are not even immediately, the person should know aware of the assembly point and the fire exit points and the exit doors, as well as the access is there or not. They have to see that. Clearly mark and readily accessible first aid stations, very important, where the what is called workforce need to reach the first aid points, like for example occupational centers and all. The way should be a very properly clearly marked, and with the arrows and safety posters will be given immediately, so that the person will reach the point or destination within a time and save the employees the lives also. Identify and designate emergency evacuation routes also. Not important to tell because you people are known everything. Identify, designate emergency evacuation routes very clearly. Demarcation will be there. Arrows should be there. Which is nearest to the that workforce is to be implemented, and see that should be the workforce should be reached immediately with the to assembly point where the situation occurs. Ensure readily available fire extinguishers and other emergency equipment within the near the workforce. Normally, these things will be definitely neglected some of the workforce, but they have to see where the weldings or cutting or bending or where the electrical works are there. We have to see that or the mechanical works are there with the welding as well as the cutting. We have to see that fire extinguisher should be placed nearby the workforce. This is very important. One fireman is also will be there. Normally welding is going on. One fireman with a bucket of water, with fire extinguisher, bucket of sand, with fireman will be there along with the fire supervisor also, where the crucial welding taken place, where the what is called the flammable materials are welded, flammable materials are nearby welding place and all. That should be taken care of during the emergency preparedness and response itself. Definitely nearby the flammable, the places are there, flammable substances are there, where the welding can taken place immediately. One fireman with one fire extinguishers and the one fire bucket of water, and the fire supervisor, and the sand is also available with them, is very essential point to be remembered. Relevant regulations and standards, everybody knows United States of America standard is, that is OSHA, Occupational Safety, Health and Administration, provides comprehensive safety guidelines for construction sites in the US. That means normally OSHA guidelines will be used in the construction safety. Of course, the ISO 45001 2018 also international standard for the occupational health and safety management system, that is OHSMS. In this construction will not be exposed much, but even then some of the risk assessment to be done, to be taken care of the plan, do, check and act according to the ISO 45001 2018. But fortunately, this code of practice of the construction site should be used OSHA guidelines. Another thing, local building codes also very important, because depending upon the state, depending upon the district, depending upon the regions, we have to specific regulations are there. Where the sea coastals are there, different regulations. The river coastals are there, difference is there. The mine coastals are there, difference is there. That means specific regulations are related to site planning and safety is given. A region is important because while site planning and layout itself, these are to be taken care of very carefully and see that should be implemented with a much more care manner. Important consideration apart from the above, the communication and training, site inspections, and worker involvement. Communication training, regular communicate safety procedures to workers and provide necessary training on site safety practices because communication always counseling to be taken care of before starting work of any shift A or B or C or general safety talks to be taken care of. Communicate the respective safety procedures daily, not like it's only construction wise, it's only site planning and layout. You have to see that safety procedures to workers and provide necessary training on site safety practices before itself. That means they are all well aware of before initiating the work in the work site. Site inspections also by the supervisors. Not only safety supervisor is held responsible, according to the top management designated ERT members, first aid members, as well as the site supervisors also equally important with the safety supervisors for the site inspections. Conduct routine inspections to identify and address the potential hazards. Even if you see, I have seen in the site inspections very strictly in the Horlicks factory of Sri City in AP. What I've seen, they have conducted daily 11:30 to 12:30 safety meeting for all the safety stewardship, all the employees every 11:30 to 12:30. Because 11:30 to 12:30 means lunchtime to the workers. That's why the 11:30 the supervisors is not doing any inspections thoroughly. The above the supervisor, the top management will observe and see that they'll bang it like anything in the safe in the meeting itself. They are not thoroughly inspected by safety supervisors down the level. They will be punished also. That's why all safety supervisors at different levels, including from bottom level to the top level, it's very, very important factor to see that inspection to be done dedicatedly as well as the religiously we have to do and not like a namesake we have to do that. Worker involvement is very important. Allow the worker to talk. Allow the worker to freely to move with the supervisors. Allow the worker to express their grievances, express their doubts, express their wantings, express their experiences, express their what is called the needs also. We have to allow those people. That is, therefore, the worker involvement is there if you provide that culture to the workman. We are not provide the worker to talk, worker to tell their doubts, to express their what is called grievance and all. The worker will involvement will not be there at all. It's very difficult for outstanding effects will be day ending if you are not follow the this. That's why encourage workers to report safety concerns and actively participate in safety initiative. We have to allow the worker to talk freely and see that he's always this fellow is talk to more. That's why I'm not allowing this person. No, not like this. You have to listen carefully the worker's voice also. So these three are very important areas to take care of the site planning and layout before approving of the site planning and layout also. Coming to the once the site layout and the site planning is over, that site access and good housekeeping also taken care of. In the construction industry, governing safety construction in safe access and good housekeeping refers to the practices and regulations implemented ensure worker safety by maintaining clear, accessible pathways on a construction site and consistently keeping the work area clean and organized, minimizing the hazards like slips, trips, and falls caused by clutter and debris. Clutter means you know that the things will be there. Before going to the clutter and debris, the construction we have to see that very important is practices as per the regulations. For what? To ensure worker safety by maintaining clear, accessible pathways where the ingress is not there, where the clear pathways is there, and see that on a construction site and consistently keeping the work area clean and organized and minimizing the hazards like slips and trips, like falls and caused by clutter and slip. A clutter means tidy means arranged neatly and in order. Clutter means cover or fill something with unwanted what is called materials. Therefore, the clutter and debris very important areas. The clutter refers to a state of untidiness or the disorder, while debris specifically means scattered fragments and remains of the something broken or destroyed. Or the unwanted materials are there in the in a different manner. See the what is called in the floor itself. While walking by the pedestrians, it will be slip and trip will be taken care of. The clutter and debris is very important words. Examples of clutter is a messy desk, a clutter closest or untidy room. Examples of debris means a rubber after the earthquake. Some all materials will be differently scattered and should be cleared immediately with a after the before after, before closing the work. We have to see that all tools and tackles in place to take for the tomorrow's work. That is the work. That is the C in the clutter and debris. Therefore, the slips, trips, and the falls will not caused by the clutter and debris. That's why before closing the work and before closing the work, we have to see that all tools and tackles in place and should be cleaned with any areas with the contaminated with the grease and all these things that used by the cotton waste should be thoroughly cleaned, thoroughly what is called washed, and see that they are in place for the tomorrow's work. Otherwise, a lot of things will be taken care of to happen in the slips and trips where the lot of accidents will be taken care of because of the slips, trips, and falls. These are things to be taken care of. All the items should be in a systematic manner to be arranged, not like a different manner, like not like a clutter like. It should be a clutter like, not should be a debris. That means specifically it should not be scattered fragments and all. Housekeeping is very important. Regular housekeeping is crucial to keeping the site safe. This involves the prompt removal of debris, that means unwanted materials, unarranged materials, that means the scattered materials, here one spanner, here one bolt, here one screw, here in washer, like this in scatter manner is there. That is called debris. That we have to remove all the debris. and should be arranged in a tidy manner. That means arranged in a neatly in order. The proper storage of materials and ensuring that tools and equipment are returned to their designated places after use. That's what I told here is. And ensuring that tools and equipment are returned to their designated places after use. So after the use or before closing the work, you have to see the tools and tackles as well as the equipment, the designated place with a clean and should be taken care of. Clear pathways and ingress points is also very important. The pathways are clear, no doubt. There is some ingress is there, some narrow points is there in the worksite construction. That ingress points also, that means narrow points also to be identified with the safety posters and the safety slogans and the safety directions and all you have to give. Maintaining unobstructed walkways and exits free from materials, tools, and debris to allow for easy movement and quick evacuation in case of emergency. Because in case of the clutter and debris, we have to see that housekeeping to be taken care of to move forward to the workforce to the where the situation has come. Evacuation will be taken care of to empty out the place by the all the workforce and go to the assembly point and see that all the place to go to the assembly point very neatly and very it should not be unobstructed or what is called obstruction ways will be taken. That's why maintaining unobstructed on walkways and exits free from materials. It should be having any no objection materials will be there with tools and debris. Allow for easy movement for workmen as well as the vehicle to go for the evacuation point in case of emergencies. The emergency will not be come and what is called tell. Immediately it will come without noticing also. That's why we have to take care of the exit doors as well as ingress points and parkways, clear pathways also. Proper storage materials and tools, storing all construction materials and equipment in designated areas off the ground and securely fastened to prevent accidental falls and damage. While taking up the stacking and unstacking also, you have to be very careful by keeping all the materials in designated areas. No doubt designated areas they'll keep, but while taking the stacking as well as unstacking or destacking, we have to be very careful by taking this. Coming to this, another point here, the governing the safe access, they continued for this also. Coming to this safe points, regular cleanup, marked hazards, proper lighting, personal protective equipment, site inspections, training and awareness will be taken care of with the safe access and good housekeeping after the layout and site planning is completed. Regular cleanup is very important. Frequent removal of waste, scrap materials, and spills to prevent spills and trip hazards. Mark hazards. One crew will be there for this particularly this type of work. Always the one crew will be engaged by the construction safety because for the dedicatedly they will do for the cleaning purpose only. Frequent removal of waste because the worker is doing the welding and all, he will not taken care of all these things. That's why one crew is dedicatedly one crew is there for all the types of works in the construction works, particularly about the regular cleanup. They have to do that frequent removal of waste, scrap materials, and spills to prevent spills and trip hazards by that dedicated crew. Mark hazards also very important for the safe access and good housekeeping. Clearly identify the potential hazards like uneven surfaces, open excavations, and the electrical wires with appropriate signages and barriers. With respect to the safe access and good housekeeping, these are the things to be taken care of. Mark hazards is very, very important to immediately workforce to diagnose the or to diagnose this area is I'm not going to be, I'm another person like this. They have to see that safety postures should be there and signages and barriers to be taken care of. Proper lighting is to be taken care of. Ensure adequate lighting in the B shift as well as night shift in all work areas, especially during low light conditions to improve visibility and prevention. Because after the floors construction, first floor, second floor is over, the slabs is completed, the floors itself, the second floor, third floor, the working is going on. The sunlight is not falling on the floors. Therefore, we have to see that low light is there. At that time, we have to see that floodlights to be arranged for the to clear visibility for doing the work and prevent accidents also. Personal protective equipment and enforcing, that means we have to enforce all the workforce to use appropriate PPE without having any shortcuts like safety boots, gloves, hard hats, and high visibility vests to protect workers from potential injuries. Because normally the work construction site, the workforce are very negligency using the PPE. You have to see that they have to enforce to use the PPE without any ambiguity or fail. Site inspections, of course, regularly conduct site inspections. Already told in the inspections, construction site identify and address the potential safety hazards related to access and housekeeping also.